but they can't hear us. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on the broadcast audio now.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is David Gross with Conde Systems with my good friend Jimmy Lamb with Sawgrass. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing great today, David. How about you?
Very well. With Jimmy's suggestion, we're going to try to stream to Facebook, and so I have no idea if it's going to work, but we're gonna give it a try. Jimmy and I get together on a regular basis, and of course, Jimmy, I guess you'd say we talk shop, don't we?
We do talk shop, and we both talk a lot, so there's always plenty of information.
So for this webinar, Jimmy's got a great topic to talk about, but I want to thank all those folks that attended our open house and took Jimmy's class. I think your class was well received, wasn't it?
It was. It had a good crowd, a lot of good energy in there. And I had a great time as always, David. I always appreciate being part of your open house.
Good deal. And so, for those that don't quite understand, what we are here to do, Jimmy, myself, and of course our entire staff, is to help you be successful. And that comes down to sharing, educating, everything from your graphic skills with the software you're using to sales and marketing. And today, Jimmy, this would be under the category of sales and marketing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I'm taking a little bit of a focus into sort of a specialized niche market that has a lot of opportunity for sublimation.
Okay, so Jimmy will see the questions that come in. We welcome your questions, your comments, your suggestions, and if during it's appropriate to answer it, great. If not, we're going to wait till the end and cover that. Jimmy, let's go.
All right, then. So our focus today, making money with sublimation, and the hospitality market will be wow, I had something get caught in my throat there right at the last minute. So
one of those crackers there.
So, all right, so what exactly is the hospitality market? The hospitality market's pretty big, okay? It's a broad category of fields, but we're really going to zero in today on lodging, okay? Lodging, and really probably more of the small end. We're talking about bed and breakfast and boutique hotels and things like that, but really hospitality includes things such as event planning, theme parks, transportation, cruise lines, and plenty of other fields within the tourism industry. So the concepts we look at today could probably be applied to some other areas as well. Now, if we take a look at the global hotel industry, okay, that generates over $550 billion in the U.S. each year, and that's huge. Of course, multiple different sub-markets, bed and breakfast, hotels, motels, inns, lodges, cruise ships. And again, our focus really in the lodging aspect will be towards the bed and breakfast. Now, zeroing down on that and getting even better stats, I'd love to go out and look up some stats just to kind of get an idea of the size of the marketplace. So they say that the industry, the bed and breakfast industry in the U.S., is worth about $3.4 billion. There's 28,000 B&B inns, 50 million people served. A typical inn has 4 to 11 rooms, with the average being about 6. So we're going to talk about huge establishments, but we're talking about ones where the clientele tends to be couples, a little more affluent and well-educated. Now, that's important because when you have this kind of clientele, they have a certain expectation maybe of service and all the different aspects that go with it. Therefore, the owner-operator puts a little bit more emphasis on having, a nice place with nice accessories, okay, so that they're able to suit the needs of their clients. So the typical inn has plenty of needs. There's things that go in the guest room. There's things in the dining room. There's different interior decorations, signage, uniforms, souvenir functional products more. So what I want to do is take a look now and see how that really kind of ties into sublimation. I'm going to kind of look at each of those different categories. I'm going to show you some different products. The products I'm showing you are all available from Conde. In fact, at the very end, I'll actually give you a list of product items that I use in the presentation. And I'll also tell you that the images are available in Creative Studio. Now, just to be clear on that, I should say they will be. Okay, these are images that we have for Creative Studio. They have not been uploaded into Creative Studio yet, but they should be within a week. Okay, and I want you to really understand what we're trying to do for you here is we're showing you some products you can use to build your own sample kits so you can approach a bed and breakfast type of facility. And we're also going to be giving you artwork that you can download and print. Now, you can put any artwork that you wish, okay? But we realize it'll be easier for you if you have one place you can go and download all the pieces of artwork that you see here and then apply them to those different products as well. Okay, so this is what we're trying to kind of evolve into. Okay, so here we're looking at the guest room, and we just start trying to imagine everything that could be used in the guest room. And there's more that I have on the screen here. But in the sublimation world, we have a lot of neat things, okay? We do have towels that can be sublimated. And we have pillows. We throw pillows and pillowcases, mugs, the most popular item out there, really. We have the good old Do Not Disturb hanger. We got serving trays, key ring holders. Because think about it, a lot of these places don't have the sophisticated electronic door keys. They have just an old-fashioned key, unlike your room. Things like coasters, etc. I mean, so there's a lot of things that can go in any given guest room that we can sublimate. That's important because the inn may only have 6 rooms, but if you outfitted all 6 rooms with a full set of products, then your order starts to get larger. Now, David, anything that you'd like to add in, because you guys have so many different products, and I can't possibly put every product you have on one screen, but you may have some other things in mind, too, that could be useful, into, say, a guest room there in a small inn or bed and breakfast.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just making sure they can hear me.
Okay.
And so, give me 1 second.
As David mentioned, everyone, we are attempting to live stream to Facebook, and this is our first time doing it. So he is working on that.
Yep, I think I got it, Jimmy. So, okay. The breadth of products from what you would find in the room to keepsakes is quite large. I would say. It could be that you would also have some more stuff in the bathroom. It could be a floor mat, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
You could think of just so many products as you go through the room that really, of course, add a personal touch to it. I'll think of more in just a second. I would also the possibility with napkins, polyester napkins, a placemat for the room, for room service. It's sort of overwhelming. I would recommend on artwork be as personal as possible with, find out maybe something about the bed and breakfast. What is it called around town? For instance, has it been around many years, established, whatever? And then of course you have a great selling opportunity to get the proprietor to sell some of these products in a little makeshift gift shop. So everybody wants to sort of take home a towel, but hey, if you offer one for sale, maybe a few people will buy instead of taking it.
Absolutely. So the next area, this is the whole thing. We're trying to give you that vision, okay? We just gave you 1,001 products for the guest room, but then there's a dining room. So we have products we can do for the dining room, probably even the kitchen too. But these are just some ones I've pulled out again that I think can be used. And by the way, in case you're wondering about the M here, this whole logo is tied into a logo set for the Maximilian Hotel. Okay, and that's why we're seeing the M, because their logo is a crest. All right. So, here I was looking at the placemats. David just mentioned placemats. He mentioned napkins. Again, we see the mugs. I mean, the mugs really can be used just about every element of the facility. There's some really unique clocks out there, the coasters, and there's even some plates. Like, this is not a huge plate. I think it's a 7.5-inch plate. But I always like the concept of being able to sublimate onto things like plates, And it is a process. You're not going to put that under a flat press and just do it. You would have to buy the right accessories to do it. But it's still a unique piece, and it could be a souvenir piece as well as actually something that may be in the dining room.
Yeah, one of the things that Jimmy was down for open house, and you missed our dinner, but we made our menus out of our curved acrylic.
Those are so cool. That was the coolest thing that it really was. And for anyone, Dave, you should have a picture on your website, because that's just a great use of that product.
So it just is touch that. You were at the dinner. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you were.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking about everybody else. They were at the dinner.
Yeah.
So.
But it just you want to leave your clientele with a classy feeling, and things like that just add so much to it.
Yeah, it was the curved acrylic pieces that they're fairly large, but because it curves and you curve it out, through the process, it stands up by itself. See, and they had put the menu for the dinner on that and just had it right in the middle of the table, and that was just an awesome way of using that particular product. Now, if we go in and just start thinking about maybe pure interior decorations, because most places you go, usually if you're at a bed and breakfast, it's something, I'm not going to call it a resort area, but it's usually somewhere where someone would go to spend a few days in somewhere nice, okay, a vacation kind of thing. And one of the things that we do at Sublimation every day is we just put pictures on things, landscapes and whatnot. And here's another opportunity if they want to decorate the halls, et cetera, with local scenes and whatnot. You could sublimate those onto the aluminum panels that can be hung on the walls, can be hung in the rooms, the individual guest rooms. The main thing here, of course, making sure that these are typically copyrighted images, making sure that, of course, that the copyrights are taken care of, handled the right way before you reproduce them. But that's just another aspect. And, really good-looking photography on the aluminum panels brings a pretty high price point, and it doesn't cost us a lot to do it. So that can be quite useful. One of the things, the last bed and breakfast I stayed in was the Saratoga Inn, and it was in the San Juan Islands up in the Seattle area. Beautiful place, and they had a picture of it in the winter. Now, we were there when it was warm, okay, and in the summer, overlooking the Puget Sound, but they had pictures of it in the winter, that were printed and hung on the wall, just gorgeous, showing the inn different times a year. And the idea was to be appealing for you to come back in a different season. So there's a whole spin you can put on photographs and wall hangings if you think about it.
And another thing is I've been in a few, I guess, almost bed and breakfasts, but just but similar, where for instance, in the lobby, the common area, they would have a few up there that would actually be for sale.
Right.
And in addition, in the lobby area, so to speak, you could sell them sort of, we'll call it a little map of that area, and potentially do some stacked metal in a few of the areas. In other words, big print, but have a stacked metal and a couple of things that highlighted those areas or something like that. So there's so much innovation that you can do that makes things different. I think being unique, where if you just throw something on the wall, it may look really good and they go, wow, But if you add a little bit of pizzazz to it, for instance, using stacked metal, it really becomes a work of art.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. I like that. You know, the whole idea of what you're putting on there, the product that you're talking about here, the stacked metal. There, you know, it's just, you know, the fun thing, okay, is brainstorming about what you can do. You know, that's sort of a starting point. If you're going to go after any potential market, you got to brainstorm, understand, you know, who the customer or who customer's profile is, and then be able to put together ideas to share with them, because a lot of times they didn't think of it, and they start getting excited when you're talking about something instead of just saying we can put your logo on a mug. Well, okay, lots of people can do that, but it's a lot different when you come in with, you know, a sample kit of items and you've thought through each one and you're showing them unique stuff. That's what gets people excited. Well, signage, another area, and just a couple of easy little samples here. And there you can see here, it's the Maximilian Hotel. I mean, all you've seen is a little crest there, a little washed out there. But here we, you know, right here, the one you see for conference room, that's just basically like a 6x8 plaque, I believe. And this over here was like, you know, a metal, like a 10 by, I think it's 8x10, you know, type of thing with the easel on the back. So it becomes something that's put there at the front desk. And you think about other things like there might be hours for breakfast or whatever, and you put it on an easel sign, you know, on a counter somewhere, or it's on the wall. So there's lots of different things like that when you start thinking about signage. I mean, even down to restrooms. I mean, if you're going to talk signage. You know, if they have public, you know, or restrooms in an open public area, then they should have restroom signs that include the hotel logo. So I'm all about having the hotel logo, because that way they're branding the hotel every time the guest turns around. And if the guest has a good experience, it makes it easier for them to remember the name of the hotel if they see it in their face. If they have a bad experience, well, that's a totally different story. We don't want to go there. But yeah, always thinking about those signs. There's so many different places we can put signs now. And, you know, there are even some pieces that we're seeing now come out that can handle UV a lot better than in the past. So you may be able to do some outdoor signage as well.
Yeah, outdoor is definitely here, and it could be, you know, parking kind of signs. It could be,
Yes.
You know, what door is for, you know, what kind of entrance, you know, watch your step. But branding, doing a good job of branding, letting people know. Obviously, the bed and breakfast wants to look as professional as possible without losing that charm of a bed and breakfast. And so really, you know, you go through the facility or whatever, take some notes, and maybe come back with a, you know, sample to sort of show them. But just great opportunities for going through the hotel.
Yeah, because once you get your foot in the door, always remember this: you get your foot in the door, and then you start showing them all these different things, because the world of sublimation is so big and broad. The things that we can produce, you know, you can have a bag with probably 100 pieces in there, pulling one after the other, which I wouldn't take 100. You'd ever want.
Yeah.
But my whole point is that's the kind of opportunity that's there.
Yeah, I'm an engineer, of course, and I think like an engineer. And one of the uses of sublimation, I think, is very much appropriate, is to make a sublimated sign for the back of the room door, and that's got appropriate information for, like, for instance, you know, nearest fire exit,
Right.
whatever is appropriate for that sign. Because, again, you know, it costs you just as much to do something unique as it does mass quantity. I've looked at the hotel rooms, and mainly they're almost like, you know, made by children. There are dots on here, things like that, where sublimation would look, of course, fantastic, hold up extremely well. So, you know, you put your thinking cap on about all the different areas. For instance, if it's, you know, not obvious what the room numbers are or what direction you go to get your rooms, you have a little sign that lets people know where the rooms are. you just go through and find those opportunities.
Absolutely. Another area, uniforms. We do have more than just T-shirts that can be sublimated. We do have polos out there, and there's, you're seeing more apparel products come about. So there are more and more apparel opportunities. An apron is a great thing to consider, which I don't have here. Name badges, David, I love the ones, the magnetic name badges on. I just think, because it's not so much about making the hole in the shirt and using a pin. It's making the hole in my chest, okay? Because for some reason, if you give me a name tag with a pin, I will stick myself. So I've always liked the magnetic ones. I think those are great. But so there's different forms of employee identification here that work into it as well.
Yeah, I think name badges, for people that watch some of the things I do, name badges is my favorite product because it's one of those products that you only have to sell one time, and you just take reorders. And so make sure that name badges is something that you're sampling your clients because it's a very profitable product, and I think it's very flexible. For instance, make sure you're putting your reorder information on the back of them. Use the magnetic findings for everybody except someone who has a pacemaker.
Good point.
And, just really go for it. Another technique you can do is if whoever you're selling to is communicating something. It could be a product. It could be an event. It could be, ask me, whatever. You can use like the 2x3 Chromlux clear name badges and take that lower third and turn it into a message area, ask me about our new products or whatever it is. And you've got a more powerful communications vehicle for your client, and it's likely they would turn it over more often.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking, David. It's like if we have a message like, ask us about our 4th of July special or whatever, right? Or our 4th of July celebration. Well, you know what? They have to be replaced at the 4th of July because that time's passed. I love things like that where you can, I'll say, date them in such a way that they do have to be replaced periodically with new products, so you're always turning new products.
So I was listening to a broadcast about the ghost of Colonial Williamsburg today. And so if you're in an area that has, say, tours, then appropriate message would be, ask me about our tours.
Right.
Something like that to get plugged in with the activities, for instance, that are going out. I like your example as well. So anybody can, of course, do a name badge, but if you try to turn a name badge into basically a more powerful communications vehicle, Sublimation can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got my mind just going through all kinds of different variations of what you just said, because I'm sitting here thinking like I'm the owner of the inn. I said, listen, if there's local ghost tours, I could probably get them to pay for the name badges because I'm giving them free publicity, So there's all kinds of angles.
Yeah, absolutely, Jimmy. Really good angle, yes.
Yep. So, they did a lot of fun here. Okay, that brings us over to souvenirs and promotional products. Something David mentioned really at the very beginning, that people like to, if they have a good experience, they like to take a piece of their experience home. That's kind of the way I see it. And if it's a true bed and breakfast, I think a coffee mug's going to rank pretty high up there. Everyone I've been in, they usually do have a small little glass case with a limited number of products. For example, if it was really a phone product, I've seen ones where it'd be an iPhone cover with an actual picture of the bed and breakfast on it, and then maybe the name, on there, because now people are walking around with like a memory in their hand, but are also kind of showing off where they've been. So, there's lots of different opportunities there. The other thing I always think about is what might a guest need that they forgot to bring. If they're going to go hike around town and they didn't bring a backpack, but they want to carry some stuff around, well, you know what? Maybe you can sell them a backpack, and that's why I put it in there. It's just a thought, where you could go.
Yeah, I would add to your list a coaster or coaster set.
Yes.
And the coaster set could have maybe a template theme for the bed and breakfast, but feature some local scenes.
Yeah, like maybe a different scene on each one.
Correct. So, and then ultimately, you could, if assuming the guests be around for a couple of days, you could have them pose at a particular place in the bed and breakfast, and take their picture, and then send it off to the digital decorator, to have it put on a product as a personalized souvenir.
Right.
You know, things like that I think are just home runs, and I don't think they're very difficult to do in the grand scheme of things.
No, I don't. I think these are great, and one of the things is, I know someone's asked me about pricing, but you know, I try to be when I'm working with direct client, because yes, I've done plenty of direct sales of decorated products. I try to give them ideas about the benefits of some of the products. Okay, let's say we're at a bed and breakfast, and a couple comes in, and they're sitting on the porch enjoying their coffee or whatever in the morning, and yeah, you run out and you take a picture of them, you know, and then you actually, rather than saying, oh, well, for a price, you can have this put on something, you as the end owner, you go ahead and make that gift that you give to them, or have it shipped to them, whatever, if it's been decorated, because it does just a couple of things. Number one, it tells them, hey, thanks, we really appreciate you coming, okay? But number two is, if you have your end logo underneath the picture of them sitting there, you know, enjoying their morning coffee on the front porch of this beautiful place, and you have all that on a mug or whatever you choose to put it on, I'll guarantee you those people use those mugs all the time, you know, or maybe it's a phone cover or whatever. And what you're doing is you're getting promotional value, even if you paid yourself to have a set of mugs made for the couple. You yourself are going to get tremendous promotional value as the end owner down the road. So sometimes, you know, I think it's important that everybody wants to know, well, you know, they're going to have to pay for this and this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like, think about what value you can get out of your, you know, promos.
And also think about, as you're doing your artwork, think about what the bed and breakfast is known for, you know, and then every year or so, go back in and freshen up the artwork. You know, definitely. So keep things that you know, somebody that's a regular there, and also I think one of the real valuable things is to get plugged into themed versions of these products. For instance, if people are coming to town because of something, then why not, you know, work on that? You know, combine it. You know, so for instance. I got a friend that's going to the Arizona Balloon Festival thing, you know, and he's going to stay somewhere. And, you know, why not offer some sort of themed product that combines the bed and breakfast with the event? So the more personal you make it, the year, for instance, the event that you're at. And after all, this is all pretty much virtual inventory, because you don't have to ask the bed and breakfast to buy very much, and you can restock them relatively fast. So yes, they're gonna love you for that, because you have the flexibility not to force them, like, you know, if you were ASI or whatever, well, buy, you know, 12 dozen of this or whatever. You have the flexibility. And for instance, if you've got if the hotel has some important guests coming in, well, hey, you can put their name on it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, my mind was thinking while you were talking, but it's like, I'm kind of going back to, you know, I'm doing some advertising here for the Saratoga Inn. Beautiful place. And in that area of the Northwest, they have 4 pretty distinct seasons. So I'm thinking about the Saratoga Inn, you know, a picture of it in 4 different seasons, you know, maybe on a mug. And then you're able to put, like, you know, winter 2017, and that date, the key thing you just mentioned about the date, I'm able to show it in the winter and put a date on there. So for those people that come routinely, yeah, maybe they're collecting them, because a lot of people will start collecting them. And having, the different seasons in there is already a reason to buy another mug each season that you come, the years. There's a lot of cool things we can do here. A lot.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about products, and let's just talk a little bit about sales and marketing. I think we've really actually covered all of these things here, but I tell people the key in sales is so many times fulfilling a need. I mean, that's a starting point. Everybody has a need. If you know what the need is, and you have a really good solution for that need, then you're in a position to fulfill it. And when you're in a position to fulfill a need, people are more willing to listen to what you have to say, and also they're more flexible with pricing. So, part of it is figuring out the needs, and the needs can be things like amenities, decorations, and branding. And then you can start going beyond that and start showing them all kinds of other ideas they didn't know they had a need for. See, I like to identify the needs they don't know about, as well as fulfill the needs they do know about. So these are three different things I'm thinking of when I look at the ends, and that's amenities, decorations, and branding. So if you look over here and you see the table, and you'll see in the picture on the right that there is a nice coffee mug, nice china, and you would expect that in a nice inn. But by the same token, it doesn't do anything to really kind of remind you of where you are. And so I like the idea of the subtle messaging. Can we find, the products, to put some products on the table where we have a very subtle message? And again, this is a logo that their brand is their M in a crest. Okay, so but instead of having a big picture, all over the place of the inn, maybe you just have a very tasteful type of thing here. So you're always reminding them of the brand. That's subtle messaging. Then you got to remember who you're dealing with. I mean, inns are usually run by a family, and that means that it's a true small business, and they tend to have a small budget. David made such a great point about the virtual inventory because of the fact that they don't have to buy 12 dozen. That's one of my pitches I've used for a lot of small businesses is you buy what you need when you need it, and we can turn it around pretty fast. You've got 12 coffee mugs here, and you need to order some more. I can have them for you in, say, 3 days, okay, whatever my normal turnaround is. And that way they don't have to have this huge inventory. Now, price is going to be a little higher because, they're not buying in mass quantity. But for a lot of people, cash flow is more important than the actual what the markup is, okay? And they're willing to pay a little bit more if they can buy fewer pieces because they tied up less money, okay? And that's very true with small ones. They would love to have a better price, but I only got to fork out enough money to buy 12 instead of 12 dozen. Yeah, that might be worth it to me. So having that small selection of offerings, but then always with every client, every time you go by that client, drop in and show them another idea. Don't have to be a forceful push. Just drop in and say, hey, guys, I came across this product the other day. Thought you might be interested in it. And that means you're doing what? You're being face-to-face. You're keeping in contact. And you're always showing them something new. Okay? And that's how you keep these things going. Don't wait for them to call you. Make sure you're visible.
Yeah, just looking at the pictures you've got, we could have an attractive floor mat there out front. Obviously, could have a flag if you wish.
Yes.
Some of the garden stakes could be all around the place, communicating maybe a little bit about the flowers and so forth, or parking, or even the street address of the bed and breakfast. I mean, you have again really just a number of great ideas. Plus, as you pointed out, as the seasons change, change a few things here and there. But you could, instead of paying a lot of money for that sign, I bet that sign, both those signs are very expensive. A piece of the outdoor metal would look very attractive and probably much lower cost.
Yep. A lot of great things we can do there. Well, if you want to go and explore the marketplace, here's a lot of the pieces that I use today, just, as a reference. And so if you're interested in what those are, these all happen to be Conde part numbers and just some of the things that I thought were pretty interesting to make a kit. And I would suggest, if you're watching this right now, instead of trying to write it down, just take a picture of your screen. But those are the different ones there. You may find that you have other ideas, and that's fine. Okay. But what I try to tell everybody is, if you want to go knock on the door, make sure you have something to show somebody. Once you actually have a client, you can do mock-ups of things and send electronically, because they already know you, they believe in you, they already have your products. But when you're walking into this bed and breakfast, you want to put something together to show them. Now, the other thing too is, don't do one bed and breakfast. If you think you want to sell to a bed and breakfast, figure out every bed and breakfast, within a 50-mile radius or something to that effect. And then try to build a sample kit where you could make a generic bed and breakfast sample kit so you can show everywhere. Okay? But I would always try to have at least one or two pieces for that client to give them when they open the door and you sit down and talk, that has their logo or their bed and breakfast or whatnot on there. Okay? It may be as simple as a mug. But the reality is, that's just a great icebreaker to say, listen, I brought you a sample of exactly what we can do for you, and it's a gift for you. And I love doing that. But like I said, a lot of times we can build a big sample kit that's just works for any bed and breakfast or in boutique hotel or whatever that we're going to, so we can go from one to the next to the next to the next. Like I say, if you don't, the first one you go to, just because you don't get it in a sale doesn't mean you did anything wrong. But just when you walk away, analyze it and say, hey, did I do anything wrong? And what can I do better next time? And really, if you actually go and visit 10 similar businesses in a row, you're going to get better in your pitch every single time. And you will start making sales. So, just don't ever get discouraged your first time out. You may have thought it out wrong, and you figured it out from what you learned from the customer, and then just learning grow.
Yeah, just so many opportunities. But name badges to me would be right up there at the top, because it's such an ongoing annuity with those. But speak with them, and I would say if I was focusing on bed and breakfasts, I would definitely land what we call my reference client. So once whatever business you're in, you need that reference client, somebody that the other folks are going to know about, and that's really the way you add credibility to your business, and you really pick up speed, is to get your stuff in there, and of course make them happy. Maybe you do your first one at a special deal, maybe you trade them for a room or something, I don't know. But at any rate, you get yourself in there so that can be your reference, your showcase for what you can do, what the quality of your products look like, the dazzling color, and of course, then from there you can go out to other businesses that are not bed and breakfast and say, hey, you're familiar with these people. Well, if you see their outdoor sign, you see their floor mat, whatever, I did that for them. Now, as you don't have the equipment to do these larger products like a floor mat, like a large metal sign, you can tap into our print services, and we'll do it for you. We can also potentially find one of our clients that may be near you that has big equipment for you to work with them. But the bottom line is the very best way to figure out what the real opportunities are is to jump in and maybe outsource some of these large products.
Yep. I like that where you're talking about your reference customer. One of the things I normally do is ask them for their permission, but then point it out to them. Hey, listen, I would love to show pictures of some of the products and things that I've done for you to others. And if you're okay with that, you're going to get a lot of publicity out of it. And, I've had ones who say, yeah, okay, that's fine. You can show samples of my products that you've done for me. And you're right. You're able to establish yourself. We took care of them. We can take care of you.
Yeah, just in any area, get to know the photographers so you can partner with them. Like in Charleston, there's one of our clients that just there along the main street just has the most beautiful sublimated metal that I've ever seen. It's just gorgeous of really scenes from, I guess, famous Charleston doors, houses,
Right.
things like that. And that's the kind of stuff that a number of people, when they're visiting a city, want to go back with.
Yes.
So good opportunity to show people, what they can purchase.
So if anyone is interested in the images, these are available. They're part of Creo Studio that will be probably by next week. And they're in the templates section. So if you're working, if you click on the top toolbar, it says Templates Plus. You look for Sales Samples folder, and you'll see Hospitality Market folder, and all these different ones for this hotel, which is, by the way, fictitious. It was just created for this kind of purpose. And there's no restriction on you using it, because the copyrights are taken care of by us because we created it. But you'll also notice there's other things in that Sales Sample folder. It's going to continue to grow. So it'll be one of those resources we're trying to make available to everybody. Listen, even if you're a Photoshop user, and that's great, okay? Keep in mind that if you bought the Virtuoso printers, then you're entitled to use Creo Studio. And you can certainly use things in Creo Studio just to help you sometimes make samples and things like that. So, it's just something to think about. So anyway, that's where that is. And this is where we are kind of wrapping up here.
What questions do we have, Jimmy?
The main question I've gotten is about pricing. What should you be charging at B&B? And that's probably the most common question I always get. And I don't always get people the answer they're looking for, but I tend to believe that margin is controlled by your marketing. And the better you are at marketing things with people, because it all comes down to perception of value, and the better you are at marketing the value of your products, the better prices you can charge. You're dealing with small operations, but the same token, you're selling them valuable things, and it's important for that to come across. I think David said it several times. They want to look professional. They want to be what their clients expect. And there's so many things in sublimation that look so much better than anything else, like some paper products and whatnot. And so you have to know what your cost is to produce it, and then you can start looking at your margins beyond that.
Yeah, I think we can certainly talk about a few of the prices. So with a quality name badge, something like that, you're certainly in the $8 to $12 range. For a mug that you're sort of wholesaling through them, maybe $10 range, something like that. I would say signage is a very high value product, and maybe you're charging $20-$30 per sign, something like that. So I think there's good margin in most products. We can certainly, if you have a particular question about a particular product, we can address that. You could send an email to saleshelp@conde.com and just say, help me with this price. Again, I think I was trying to think of other products that, for instance, we have our pinch books that you can put paper inside of them and they close. Pinch books would be good for, everything from a menu to a wine list to you could use them in the room to gather all the miscellaneous paper, put them in there. So the pinch book would be good. The curved acrylic would be great for, things in the room that need to stay, or dining room tables with that. Things like that. So, it's a great opportunity to sell what I call business to business. And, you want to figure out how to, I guess, maximize your value. For instance, on the keys, great opportunity there. With the keychain for their keys. So just go through and get started. But you got to pick out that reference. You got to make that first product and figure out, okay, what is it that's really gonna go over well there, that's gonna make a lot of difference to them. What is it?
Right. And again, with the value, important things to remember is if you're doing things that are soft goods, maybe they're pillowcases, napkins, things like that. When you sublimate it and you wash it, sublimation doesn't crack, peel, or fade when you launder it. Other types of printing will. So you have a longevity factor with your sublimation on soft goods, especially ones that will be laundered. And for anyone that hasn't actually tried it, I know came up from an age where polyester was the hottest, most uncomfortable thing you could wear. But truly today, the Poly Performance products are more comfortable than 100% cotton when it comes to wearing it on a hot day or whatnot. And so again, these products do cost more.
Yeah, the pillowcase, your pillowcase idea is, I think, a home run there. It doesn't have to be loud design, but just a subtle design, maybe putting the hotel logo or whatever in one of the corners. Just something there. The pillowcases that we have, I've used at home for years. They're the microfiber, moisture wicking, and I don't think there's anything better in the world. That is just so comfortable. It absorbs moisture. So, and it's very soft. It's just so it's a big winner.
Yep, and Dave, while you're talking about some of your products specifically, I have some of your floor mats that I used at the marina with my boat, and they've been out in the sun for about 5 years, and I clean them with bleach, okay, because I don't have full bleed imaging. There's a boat logo across a white background. Well, white doesn't stay very white very long when you got people traipsing in and out. And I bleach those things, and they're out in the sun, and you know what? 5 years, they still look pretty darn good. So that's a lot of wear and tear, probably more than some people might put on. But so yeah, these floor mat products, they're long lasting as well.
Yeah, we made some new ones for open house, and we have ours at the entrance. The entrance certainly been in use for many years. But thanks for the feedback on the floor mats. We tell everybody, things like that would be a short run product for outdoor use, but I think for the most part, sublimation products deliver more than they promise.
True, very true. Well, I think that we have, that was really our main question, just some pricing things, and we've got some feedback, just, thanking for the session. So I think that we are at the point to wrap it up for the day.
Yeah, I did. I was trying to think of one just home run product that they could sell to their client, and what I came up with was the water bottle. Okay. The kids want a water bottle. Make one for the with the hotel logo, something with the city information. But that would be, I think, a product that everybody would want one of.
Yes. So, David, next month, our topic is Christmas in July. So, That should be a very interesting webinar event.
Oh, I had one call to action, and that is that if you were part of this webinar, either when it was doing live or after we posted it, the call to action is we're happy to provide you one of the new outdoor Unisub garden stakes. I am absolutely in love with those products. They are fantastic. So it'd be included with your next order of $100 or more. And so just ask them, just reference this webinar that you want your garden stake, and we'll be glad to drop it in your box and send it to you. They are just an amazing extension to products. So just so many uses, from just put it in your yard to your business to you name it. Just a very flexible product.
Awesome.
All right, Jimmy.
Well, I think we're done.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and we look forward to our next one. You take care.
You too, David. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.